Check this out. Too strong. Check this out.
Well, I started in hip hop. Actually, that was one of my things that I started in. When I started, yeah, like I had a couple rap ideas and rap beats and stuff like that, but wasn't getting too many. Like I wasn't getting a record deal, or I wasn't getting noticed by that way. Then a friend of mine came to my house. This guy named Trax, and he played me like house music. He says, "Oh, you got to be doing something like this. This is what's hot in the clubs." And I was like, well, I don't really understand it, but I'll try and do something like it. So then I started doing some tracks, like Latin freestyle tracks and everything like that, and before you know it, I had record deals from it. So it was kind of interesting how I just transformed from hip hop to Latin freestyle, and then I did house later. Met Frankie, David, all these guys are from back in the days. New York was really the hottest scene when it came to DJs. So, Frankie, Dave Morales, Louis, Kenny, all of us just was like a big clique, that we just hung out, Roger, you could go down the line. And I met the Chicago cats later on, like, Marshall Jefferson, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, I met all these guys later on. But in New York, we just had like a tight thing going on for a while. It was just us DJing all the clubs, and we all would go out to each other's club and support.
Step off the train, walking down your street again, past your door.
Well, back in the days, that was like the style that I created. I wanted to, because back in the days, they would sign you to one contract for your name, so then you couldn't do nothing else. I didn't want to be stuck in one contract. I wanted to do a bunch of different projects. So I had to come up with names. So that company had Black Ride, this company had Royal House, that company had Swan Lake, and this company had Todd Project. So I could keep a lot of records out there, because they wouldn't two companies wouldn't put out the same, your name. Like they didn't want to put out, what's a Todd Terry record? I'm like, well, it's the same thing. Well, name it something different, so we have something different than what this guy put out. So that was back in the days of style. Well, I'm doing a lot of collaborations, with any and everybody. A kid comes up to me and says, "You want to make a record with me?" I make a record with him. It's just like, just craziness, because collaborations, you never know what new kids you could find. I mean, look at John Paul Ghetto. We did 4 records with each other, and now the whole thing's enormous. It's just like you never know who's the new kid or whatever. So you always want to try to work with the new jack, mix your old style with the new style. And I think that makes it really funky, because the elements I bring to the table, they can't possibly think of, because they're not old, so they're thinking of new elements. Maybe I can't relate to their new elements, but it's always good to do collaborations, such as what I did with Mateo DeMar, Copyright, Crockett Fitch, Lil Louis, Kenny. Go down the line. The collaborations, I think, is a great thing for house music. This New York is trying to get the bars and everything going again with house music. I see that happening again. So, it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the next, year or so, how it's turning around. Like all the bleepy and all that type of noise stuff has killed itself. And now it's coming back to, slower down, more funky acid house and, songs. So that's a big deal. That's where it's evolved. Yeah, it turned around for the better. I think we had a bad 7 years. I don't know where we was going, You had stars that wasn't stars. You had singers that couldn't even get on records. They would sing like one little line on a record, and that was it. That was what they got paid for, which was kind of weird. But you know, hopefully now we can get some real songs and some real music and some real classic tracks.
I'm needing you.